Yeah, well, look, although in a sense I try not to give theology, but I do have a view of God and being Father, for instance, and in a sense a theology, but it is mine in the sense that I'm only able to give you, well, I'm only really willing to give you, my view. Your view won't be that, no matter how much you listen to my view. Your experience is different to mine. And it's not the theology that's going to get you there. It's not the practice, although of course you can do Kriya, you can practice it without holding any theology, except it won't work unless you're devoted to, well, if you're secular, it has to just be your values. So you might believe fervently in non-violence. You might believe fervently in caring for the planet. Being honest, being faithful and true, having integrity, being compassionate, being kind. These may be, and highly likely to be, after all, we are human. We're all human. You're likely to have these values. So your practice will work without a theology, but not without your devotion. And I'm tempted to say, some people feel, well, I just worship truth. I'm a philosopher. Say I'm devoted to a secular impression, which is what I had, of Plato. I was never that devoted, but my goodness, I was taken with it. I don't think that will... I think you'd just be a very good philosopher. You'd be a great scientist, perhaps, but I don't think you... I don't think you would experience the spiritual transcendence and so on, the joy. I think it's that. The Kriya seems to work in that it brings joy, and something like the Ananda organization and Paramhansa are principally concerned with that. I mean, Ananda organization is called Ananda because the word Ananda means joy, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean love. Now, obviously the Ananda group don't just believe in following the Guru. I mean, they see the Guru as an incarnation of God, but they feel they are worshipping God. So there's a love. I think there's a love of the Guru, not just an obedience. Although I'm confused with Kriyananda's view that his understanding of Paramhansa and so on was not the loving relationship that I normally think of. Seemed rather cold to me. I think he described it as impersonal. I can't imagine love being impersonal and still being love. But you can be, and I was, for instance, very secular, but a humanist. I cared for people, cared for animals. I wasn't happy with going fishing. I thought I was harming the fish. So I stopped. I stopped killing insects. I wasn't happy with suffering going on. So I would say to you, look, if you are secular and there's no way you're going to recognise or trust in a view of God, you do need to passionately believe in what you value. And what you value, I think, may have to include love, not just the pursuit of truth, understanding and wisdom, but love. I suppose because I have the notion that, well, of course, a human being creates, and you almost certainly value creativity. I mean, scientists do, don't they? I mean, engineers, technicians, I mean, we love creating. Cooks, parents, we love creating. Gardeners, engineers. So you'll love the creative aspect of God, but you have to love the loving aspect of God. I don't mean you have to recognise it's of God. But yes, I think it is the case then. Let me say again, if you are secular, well, if you weren't secular but religious or godly, you should love God with all your heart, soul, mind and strength. But God is the personification of what you value. It's your God. So if you don't want to make that jump of personification, you're left with devotion to your principles. And that's probably fine, because your principles quite quickly, I think, will become to include, if that doesn't already, of course, love and compassion and kindness and creativity, of course. Yeah. So Kriya will get you there. It will require the same passion and ardour as those that are relating to a personification of their values, namely a person. And I'm not sure as that's harder than, I'm not sure as it's harder to be secular, harder to reach enlightenment. I've got a feeling it's going to be the same. I haven't come that way, have I? I was a passionate humanist, passionate academic as regards truth, rescuing society and life. It just naturally led on for me logically that I valued the supernatural. I thought the supernatural was possible. I mean, I could tell fortunes. Oh, that's very mechanical, I felt. Mum taught me palmistry, and that was straightforward. Trivially, I don't mean I was a great palmist, but I knew it worked. I think you can be secular and aware of spiritual things, the possibility of such, the supernatural. Let me pause a sec. Look, I still think it's much easier personifying, worshipping God, loving God, relating to God person to person. We're persons. We feel our deepest emotion in love, and love is, not loving the car or the house, but a very complex entity, persons. We relate well to persons from the very beginning. It's Mum that comes to our rescue in the void, in the chaos. So I think in a sense, the people that constructed and helped to construct religions were wise in that I choose to believe. Why do I choose to believe in God? Because it's such a blessing doing that. It's as simple as that, isn't it? If what made me think that doing so would be a blessing? I hoped it would. Why? Well, in my personal case, because I was so happy I wanted God to exist, so I could thank Him. I was just filled with joy and thankfulness. So, well, there you have it, Marshall. If Kriya gives you a state of joy, joy will give you a state of gratitude. Gratitude will drive you to wanting to believe in God, so that you can say thank you and relate to a wonderful person you'd love it to be not chance, but the will of a lovely person, one that you can relate to and thank and love. You see, we long to love. In life we go out and search for someone to love. And sure, we'd like them to love us. Of course, appreciate us. That would be wonderful. But that's what we're doing. Why? Well, what we've said, because we've received love from the beginning. Food, warmth, comfort, protection, guidance. It's all been given to us in incredible, endless stream of it from birth upwards. Even if you're the most deprived soul, you've still had enough to survive for years. Just enough, perhaps, poor souls, but you know what I mean. An incredible string of provision and miracles to get you to 5 years old, 10 years old, 20 years old, 40 years old. An endless stream of provision is needed to get you continuously to that age. Gratitude should sweep through us. I long for God to exist so I can love Him to bits and be His friend forever. That's who I am. Am I so unusual in that? I don't think so. So, yes, I am clear. Kriya will get you there. All you need to do is be human. And you are. Not a problem. Bless you. And I was. Secular I may have been. But my goodness. Get out of my way, I'm coming. Bless you. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. Look, it's much easier relating to a human God than it is just principles. And when the Kriya practice starts to fill you with peace and joy, your heart will cry out that you trust in God and can thank Him for it all. Bless you. That's the way I came. I didn't start Christian. I was secular, but in a state of joy. I suddenly realized I wanted God to exist. Never wanted God to exist before. Strange. How amazing. What's happened to Marshall? Gratitude. That's what happened to Marshall. Joy, gratitude. And then, well, I just transcended, if you like. I just didn't come down for days and 10 days. I was just reading, I think I was reading the autobiography. Yeah. May have been reading the Gita as well by then. Edwin Arnold's translation of the Bhagavad Gita. I'm pretty sure I was. Yeah. I must have picked up a copy from the bookshop somehow. The autobiography I was given, of course, by a chap I knew on the course, economics course. Yeah, gratitude, joy, and the Kriya would do that. The control of the breathing appropriate to those emotions, that frame of mind, that calming of the heart. That's why it works. And for all the visualization, I might say, I think it's mostly mechanical. It's simply a super supply of oxygen and a slowing of the breathing, lengthening of the breath, which just automatically causes the heart to slow down, and the whole metabolism starts to settle and adjust, and you start to respond peacefully, reflecting the way the heart's going. You know, you've adjusted the rhythm to the heart, and the breathing, and that's changed your mental makeup, what thoughts you're thinking, your peace of mind, the atmosphere, the magnetism, if you like. And you draw on a more peaceful, a more harmonious stream of thoughts from God, and energy, and empowerment, and emotions that are right and receptive. You find your life starts to be good, orderly, clear, amazing synchronicities and provisions, miracles. You start to believe in miracles, supernatural power. But you'll find out for yourself, won't you? Bless you. Thank you, Dad.